Welcome. My name is Bill Fox. I'm the founder and owner of Workflow Systems. I'd like to take you on a brief tour of the Workflow Approval demo and give you some pointers as to what the application can do for you. So how does Workflow Approval work? Every notes form must be tied to an existing profile document. I'm going to go into more detail in a further session on how the profile document works, but I'll give you a quick overview later on in this demo. Every action creates a transaction document that the server must process. A transaction document is created because the end user may not have edit rights to the document. In most cases, they probably should not have edit rights to the document. In fact, they should enter the database with nothing higher than author access, but that's a design consideration for you to determine the access level. The kind of transaction document created is determined by the action taken by the end user. In other words, if they approve a document, an approved transaction is created. If they deny, a denied transaction is created, etc. So what will we do in this demo? We'll demonstrate a basic serial routing example. We'll also demonstrate a dynamic routing example where the names that are to be routed to will be determined at runtime. We'll demonstrate an approver automation process. We'll take a quick look at a profile document, a quick look at a approver automation document, and a quick look at the rule document that is used in the dynamic routing. So let's get on with it. Let's go take a look at the demo. Okay, let's get started with the demo. The first thing I'm going to do is just create a basic routing example. It's going to pick the value for accounting and enter something for a project summary. And we'll enter the cost for this, and we'll say, and some savings of whatever it's going to be. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, up here where it says submit for approval, click on that, and here it is. It's been submitted for approval. It's selected in the profile. It says to route it to myself and Charlie Brown. And so now if I open this, I will be given the option to do some various functions. I can process it, approve it. I can deny it. I can skip an approver or cancel it. These options out here to the left are basically because I'm also the administrator. Most people would just see the approve, deny, and perhaps the add approver button, which is controlled by the profile document. In any case, I'll just click on this, and it's going to ask me to fill in my comment. And I am going to just confirm that I've done that. And now we can see that it is now that I've approved it, and it now resides on Charlie Brown's desk to approve. I'm going to switch over here, pause here for a minute, and then switch over to Charlie Brown in a web browser. So we'll be right back. So now we are back in, and I'm now signed in as Charlie Brown and on a web browser. So I'm going to open this document as Charlie, and I can see the basis of it. And so I'm just going to simply, at this point in time, approve it. And we'll have Charlie just say something really profound. and he will confirm it. Back to the view, and we can see that it's now been approved and it's completed. I'm going to switch back over to my Notes client now and refresh this, and I can see there it is. It's been approved, and we've now got a complete record of who approved it, when they did, and what happened to it. So now I'm going to do another one, and this one I'm going to do is going to be a dynamic lookup. I'm going to select off of here. I'll select manufacturing, for example. I'll call this test dynamic, and I'll just leave the amount as it is, and I'll submit it for approval. Refresh the view, and you see that if for this dynamic routing, I'm the only one in the list. We'll do this because it's a whole lot simpler, but you saw how it gets routed to multiple people. So I will open it, and what I'll do this time is I'll deny it. And I will confirm it. Now when I come in here, we can see there it is. It's been denied. So we have one approved and one denied. This second one was sent based on the dynamic routing. If I do another dynamic routing, same thing, but I'll pick marketing this time, we'll and we'll take a look at what comes up for the approvers, and we'll see here that it goes to Charlie Brown, to myself, and test user 2. I'm not going to follow that through because it's obvious that it would be the same thing. Charlie Brown can approve it, I would get it, and then test user 3. There's basically no limit to the number of users that can be in the approvers list, except for a technical limit, which is not imposed by us but by Notes, that the field can't be more than 16K long. So depending on the average length of your names, you can get several hundred names in a routing. In fact, I know of a case where a customer is using this to distribute policy documents, and they require that everybody in the organization have read it, so they just send it out as a massive approval process, and everybody gets an email, and when they have read the policy, they just confirm that they've read it. Pretty neat kind of a thing to do. Now I'm going to go back to my basic routing example. I'll leave it with accounting, and I have defined a background automation for myself that if the request is from accounting and it's less than $1,000, I'm going to approve it. This is kind of like a department manager says, okay, I've authorized my own staff that they can spend up to $1,000 without me having to get involved in it. Okay, that's my policy, so I just don't want to be bothered with all the nickel and dime stuff. So I've set this up in the background. I'll show you how it's done in a minute. So here I'll submit this transaction, and now if I look here, you can see here's the basic routing example we just did. It shows that it goes to me and to Charlie Brown, but it shows that I have approved it already because the automation has kicked in and did it. Kind of neat, can help save a lot of time and effort. So let's take a look at the approval cycle profiles. First of all, we'll look at the basic routing example that we did, the first one we did. We can say We can set this to be 100% approval. I can set it to be 2 approvers, so I can send it out to a bunch of people, and if 2 people approve it, it will go through. I can set it to 51%, and if so long as more than 50% of the people approve it, it will get approved. So as soon as the person who ticks it over the 51% approves it, the process is completed. We can make it serial or parallel. Serial goes as it suggests, one approver to the next, whereas parallel puts it into a parallel process. Everybody gets the notice at the same time, and they all can act on it at their in a similar process. I have defined myself and Charlie Brown as the fixed approvers in this process. You can define what constitutes a late process. Here it's set at 5 minutes. For testing, it works out okay. Most people would object to getting a late notice every 5 minutes. However, I know that it is used. One of our clients is using this in a production control environment, and when an issue is reported, they create one of these and have, I think, a 10 or 15-minute response time that has to be acknowledged. You can control the access of who can read, who can edit documents all the way through the process. There's a detailed notification process. You can define what takes place after a cycle has been completed and at various points along the way. And then in the technical, you can specify what your website address is, etc., and also what buttons the user sees. So if you can change that to your liking, and in addition, you can put in an override name so that instead of say it's saying approve, we saw in one of the examples that the profile document had said completed. So let's just say that in the example of the policy process, you could make it say, I read it. They would just click that they read it. In that case, you might say, well, I don't want them to be able to deny it. They can't delegate it, and they can't add an approver. So they can submit it and they can approve it, and away they go. Okay. So these are just some of the things that can be done in a profile document. I'm going to touch on that in greater detail in the next demo. So I'll just close that without saving it. The dynamic looks very similar to the basic one, except that notice here there are no approvers specified in the profile. They are selected at runtime, and likewise I will show you how you accomplish that in the next demo. We take a look at the approver automation. That's where the one that said if the profile is the basic routing, and that and so here's the formula that is used to determine what happens. You notice here it says if the department equals accounting and cost is less than 1,000, then it's going to return true. In other words, perform the action. In this case, the action is approve. Otherwise, it returns false, in which case the document proceeds normally through the process. This can also be used as a proxy. So if someone is going on vacation and they have a start date, they can specify, okay, they're going to start on the 29th and go through to the 13th, this would operate during that period of time. When that after the 13th, it would cease to operate. So can be created so that when during that period of time that you perform a delegate and you delegate it to some person in the organization, and it automatically processes through. So that's kind of a neat kind of a process. And then finally, the routing rules. Here's the routing rules for accounting. If you specify accounting, it's going to pick test user 1. And if I want to pick an additional person here, I'll pick test user 2 as well and add them to the list and say, okay, so now if we do a routing to accounting through the dynamic, it will pick user 1 and 2. Manufacturing, we saw that before, where I'm the only one on manufacturing, and then for marketing. So this can be as extensive a list as you want, and is given here in the demo simply to be an example of the sort of thing that you can do. So that, if you want more detail on how the profile documents work, go to the Workflow Approval Demo 2 or download and install the demo on your server. Contact us at our website at wfsystems.ca or email me at bill_fox@wfsystems.ca. You can call me also at 1-780-504-0798. We're in Greenwich Mean Time -7. That's mountain time in North America. So thanks for being with us, and that's a quick overview of what Workflow Approval can do for you.